At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday.
Good morning, Vietnam. What's going on, guys? It's your boy JT, and welcome to another episode of It's Only Monday podcast. Today's theme and today's question that I have for you guys is, what if it works out? That's what it's about today. Today is about what if it works out? What are you doing right now in your life? Think about it. What are you focusing on in your life right now? What's something that's a goal or a dream or just something you want to do? Doesn't have to be crazy big, bro. It could be something kind of like small too. Like you just want to learn to like be able to do the splits or have a six pack. Well, that's not the easiest thing in the world, but or be able to touch your toes, or these are kind of crazy things. Let's go into something else. Maybe know how to code a website, know how to edit a video on your phone, know how to run for 10 more minutes longer than you usually do. I don't know. It could be anything. Learn how to bake. I don't care. Something big or small. I don't want to always just talk about the biggest things in the world. Like, yo, what if I make $1 billion tomorrow? Like, yeah. There's a lot of steps that go in between there. But what if it works out? That's what today's about. What if it works out? I was watching a video, and I think it was from D4 Darius, but he did say this. And if he did say this, I'm going to cut it in right now.
Fear isn't just an emotion, it's an adaptive phenomenon. It's there for a reason. When we perceive a threat, this little guy here, the amygdala, triggers our fear response, preparing us for either a fight or to take flight. But the plot thickens. This process doesn't just occur with perceived mortal danger. It occurs with any perceived threat, social, financial, etc. Non-mortal threats might elicit a fear response of self-doubt, hypercritical thinking, perseverative thinking, or dwelling on all the possible ways things can go wrong. This phenomenon is called the negativity bias.
So your brain is something that will save you from danger, right? You have that fight or flight mode. And, we always think it has only to do with like if you're fighting a bear. You know what I mean? Or like a random pit bull comes running at you out of nowhere, right? It's like, all right, I got nowhere to go. I got to have to fight, or I'm going to have to run, right? But there's another part of it that actually I didn't really realize till watching this video that kind of made me realize, like, whoa, hold on a second. Your brain is also protecting you from decisions you might make, right? You might be trying to make a decision, like, let's say, again, because inflation and all this stuff, let's talk about financially. You might be trying to make a decision financially and have an idea that may help you grow financially, but it may also take money out of your pocket. So you might be like, your brain is thinking, wait, what if it doesn't work out? You're thinking about all the things of what could go wrong, right? And granted, that's great. You're a realist. You're thinking about the actual things. But it made me realize that your brain is actually something that protects you from yourself sometimes, right? And it can come across as self-sabotage sometimes, or like why am I not going for this? But then you realize your brain is trying to protect you from making a decision that could possibly be bad. But what if it works out? You know what I mean? So again, you might, and I was trying to figure out, like, how does this work? Like, okay, let's say I'm supposed to go do like a run or a ride or a workout, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. Like, your brain can tell you, you might start thinking, oh, like, I'm tired. What if I hurt myself while working out? Then I can't work out at all. Or, you put it off or something. That's more procrastination. And I know people say there's a whole thing with procrastination. I'm not going to go into that today. I just really want to talk about the thought process of if things work out and looking at the glass being half full. A lot of people, I think, have dreams, have goals, and you think about things that you want to do, but you don't really think of the path to get there. And Gary Vee famously always says reverse engineer. And I think that is a true process to have. I thought about that too. Like, whatever you want to do, reverse engineer it. Because a lot of times we don't know how we're going to get there. Like, certain things are already put out for us, and it's like, all right, cool, you can follow a path. But some things aren't, and that's okay, right? But figuring out is also like another fun part of it if you're like problem solving and stuff like that. At the end of the day, this ain't school, but at the end of the day, life is a long life learning school. You know what I mean? There's always tests. There's always things put in front of us, problems that we have to solve. So this whole thought process of what if it would work out, right, is really being optimistic, right? Are people optimistic? I think there are a lot of people who are optimistic. I think when you're young, you're really optimistic, right? Like, I remember, as you get older, you kind of learn how things work. And the ignorance that you have when you're younger of not knowing how things 100% work makes you do things unconventional, right? But because you do it unconventional, you end up doing things in a way that ends up being either seen as like brand new and everyone's like, whoa, that's so innovative, or you just did something totally different and wrong that most people usually don't do, but it worked out for you in a way. And because you did it that way, no one else was doing it that way. So there is this like ignorance and bliss we have when we're younger, when we don't know things, that helps us in spaces that like have, guidelines to follow, which is cool. So, but then as you get older, you have this mindset of like, you learn how things actually are, right? And then you start having this like weird mindset, like, okay, cool, I can't do it that way because that's not how I'm supposed to. But then it's like, who said supposed? Like, why are you putting yourself in a box? And boxes are fine. At the end of the day, it's okay to put yourself in a box, right? Because I think at the end of the day, we all are in this world now where everyone wants to be everything, do everything, which is, I think, totally fine. But you got to understand that like working within a box and the confines sometimes lets you be even more creative or better in what you're doing, right? If you have if we were playing a basketball game and there was no lines for out of bounds, like that would be a horrible game. Think about it. Like one person runs a mile away and then comes back in another direction because we have no out of bounds. Like you need boundaries in things to play in the confines of a game. And there's certain things in life that there are confines in and there's bounds, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes we let those boundaries hinder us from what we can do and what we think we can do. And as we grow older, we think, oh man, like it won't work out because I gotta do it this way, or I need this and I need that. And to an extent, it's true. Like as you open your eyes and you realize what's real and what's not, and what's like, a kid just being ignorant to, you do though kind of lose that part of you. And I want you guys to find it back. I want you guys to find that part back of not caring, just trying, you know what I mean? Like, again, I'll bring it to the easiest things that we can think of. Again, this podcast isn't geared towards just a business person or a creative or anything. This is like anybody of anything what you're doing in life. But I think you can apply this to every sections of your life. If you do, you might see some great results. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, hey, there's no refunds here. This thing is free 99 that you're listening to. So, but what do you have to lose? Think of the goal that you have right now. Write it down. Something small goal, something that you've been putting off for a very, very, very long time. And then when you think about it, you're like, damn, man, like, why have I been putting this thing off, right? And it might come with like work. It might come in with something that's repetitive that you got to keep doing that. You might not want to do all the time. And I get that, right? Perfect example, I want to have a six-pack. That's work. That's a grind, right? You know what I mean? Life is busy. Do you have the time to eat properly, work out all the time, et cetera, do what you got to do? But if you put a little bit every single day, you could eventually get there. And depending on how much effort you put into it, right? So you might want something a little bit different. You might want to learn how to cook an amazing dish. Listen, I like cooking. It's fun. So let's say cooking an amazing dish and getting the recipe right? And just being a good cook. And I like cooking because I hate baking. It's okay, I know this is about positivity, but let me just talk about baking. The problem I have with baking at the end of the day is it's actually so scientific. Like cooking, I'm great. Like I can literally, oh shoot, I put a little bit too much of this. I can kind of compensate with that and mix it up with this. And you know what I mean? You can be creative and do a lot to make sure that like it still tastes good at the end of the day. But baking, bro, it's like you put the wrong just ounce extra and it's like done. The time goes a little bit more over and stuff. So baking to me is kind of like, it's very precise, but like cooking to me is fun because it's like, I can mix it up. I can do I did a little bit too much of this. Okay, let's try something like this. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you got Gordon Ramsay behind you just screaming like, bruv, tearing you apart. That's different. But back to what I was trying to say. Think of something small that you want to do in life. Anything, right? And write it down. And think to yourself, one, why haven't I accomplished this? Why? Why haven't you accomplished it? I'm going to give you a second to think about it. If the answer is deeper and you need to see like a therapist or something like that, I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's not what this is about. This is not that deep. But if it's something like, if you really think about it, because I said something small that you've been holding off, you might be saying, damn, it's only been because, I've been doing X, Y, Z, or I just been putting my time here or whatever. So why not change that? Why not allocate the time to that? Why not? And that's just if that's it. It could be something totally different. I could be wrong. I'm just kind of just going off of what I'm thinking about at the moment. But Now let's think of a bigger goal, right? Okay, cool. Bigger goal. Thinking about it. Write it down. Why hasn't that worked out yet? Now you can sit there and say, yo, there's a lot of things, the reason why. There's like a list of things I got to do before I get to that spot. But then you realize that small goal, right, is like, yo, it's not really a crazy list of things you got to do to get to that. And it's the same practice, though, that you're going to do for those small goals that will get you to those big goals, right? So a lot of times you're like, okay, cool. If I can't even handle the small goals, and it's kind of like what there's a saying, like my mommy says too, like God's not going to bless you with a lot of money if you can't handle a certain amount of money. Like if you get $100 and you blow it, God's not going to give you $1,000. You know what I mean? You get $1,000 and you blow it, like you can't get trusted with like $100,000. So it's the same process, right? So if you're not even like attempting to go for your small goals or the small things that you want, you know, how are you going to end up going for the big ones? And a lot of times we have this big thinking where we're just like, yo, it'll happen. But then time passes. And like, yo, time is finite. Like there's no way to get it back. You know what I mean? Like right now, the time you're giving me is precious. So thank you. Now, some of you might have just been like, hold on, and turned it off and like, I want my time. All right. If you're still here, thanks for rocking with me. But now that you're thinking about that and you can look at the process to like how to achieve that though, now look at it as like, why won't it work out though? Like what if it works out? Sorry. You know, back to that question. What if it works out? What if this works out? What changes in your life? I'll give you a second to think about it. What changes in your life if that works out? How many things in your life changes? Does it even go further to like people around you? You know what I mean? Like when you start thinking how deep that can be, it kind of like makes you wake up and realize and think like, and depending on the type of person you are, damn, like I can not only change something in my own life, but like people around me. And what if those people's lives, certain parts of their lives are depending on you moving forward with a part of your life? Well, really think about that. Like, again, you have a goal. Let's say if you achieve that goal, it will change your life in a certain type of way that may affect other people around you in a positive way and help them get to parts of their goals. Think of it like this, like domino effect, man. Like you hit your goal on something, and whether it's you have to be collaborative with other people or it's a goal that just like will allow other people for you to bless other people, that will allow those people to bless other people and so on and so forth and so forth. So when you're thinking about what if it works out, when you start thinking past just myself and my own goals and my own selfish needs and wants, and you start thinking to where it can go for other people, and depending on the type of person you are, like you realize it's bigger than you, and you realize that like you have to go for your goals. You have to go for your dreams because it's not just about you, man. It's not just about you. It's about the people around you. It's about the people you love. It's about the people in the world. It's about adding to the world. It's about giving more to the world. You know what I mean? So think about that. And if your goal is something crazy, like, bro, some dark ish, that's like, please don't fulfill that goal. But that's really what I wanted to hit today with that whole thought. I've been kind of thinking about it all week. Like, what if it works out, right? And I've always had that thought process. Like, I've never really seen, again, like the glass half empty. I always saw it half full because it's just like, you know, like, all right, I'm just missing this, and this. Cool. But like, I got this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And that's why I focus on what you have. So many times people are focusing on what they don't have. And it's just like, why, bro? Like, there's like down to like, yo, I woke up today. Yo, that's crazy. There's some people that didn't. To be real, like there are some people that didn't wake up today. So like that's already a W. Then on top of that, like, yo, I can walk, I can move my arms, I can see, I can hear, you know, all the things that you're already blessed with before you even get to anything material. Just like your God-given ability of like life. That's just enough for you to be like, yo, bro, I'm here. You know what I mean? So when you like are thankful, and again, like being thankful and grateful, that's why I say thank God every day. Like I literally wake up and say thank God for another day because it's like, yo, I'm just grateful to be here, God. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you live like that, just at the beginning, man, like the starting your day, you rearrange your day. I think I spoke about one time, or sorry, I don't have to, I get to. And that thought process of like, you know what I mean, switching your brain and your thought process to like, I get to do things rather than I have to do things is like an amazing thing in itself, right? It helps rewire your brain. But I think everything starts with being thankful at the end of the day. And then the optimism kicks into what if this works out? And then also thinking about if it does work out, how many people it affects in a positive way. And then like it changes your day, man. But yo, that's really what I want you guys to spend this week thinking about. You know, again, I gave you guys some pauses like, yo, like here's a question. What's the answer? Like you might not have figured it out right away. And that's cool. That's cool. I'll give you another second though. Okay, cool. Second done. Still might not figure it out. It's all good. But this week I want you for homework to spend this week thinking about your small goals, your big goals, and then how it would affect people around you if it works out. And I'll see you in class next week. That's not a class. It's not a class. I'm not your teacher. I'm not your teacher. I'm just a guy that's chatting with you and kicking and having a conversation. You know what I mean? I'm the guy that like, if we were both in the subway or in the bus or out of the bar, I'm just like, hey, what's good? And just have a conversation, talk about life. You know what I mean? That's what this is. I mean, crazy, you know? But listen, it's Monday morning. I want you to have a great day. I want you to be happy, in a good mood. Be happy just to go. Like, again, hug your kids, kiss your wife, kiss your husband, text your girlfriend, text your boyfriend, whatever. Just say like something nice to someone this morning. You know what I mean? And walk outside with a smile on your face. You know, you don't have to be smiling like a weird, like, because if you're smiling, like, and if you're listening to this podcast, you won't see it. But if you're watching this podcast, you can't be running around like you're like, you know, it the clown. But be pleasant, be happy. Like when you're happy, people can see that. You know what I mean? It just makes a day better. Say hello to somebody. You know what I mean? It's just like life is like this thing that's like I see it like a movie. And I said this one time, like life is like a movie. If you were watching the main character and the main character, you know, saw something in front of him and the person, like, they made eye contact and they saw something funny. If the main character just like looked down and didn't say anything, you're kind of like, that could have went somewhere. It would have been funny. But if you like, you know, look over, smile, laugh, and say a little comment, oh man, look at that, you know, quick little interaction, like it makes life more fun. You know, treat life like there's a camera on you and you're walking around and just having letting things play out. You know what I mean? And just enjoy it, man. Again, it's finite. We're not here forever. So make your time worth it. Anyways, guys, yeah. And I hope you have a great week. You know, work hard, play hard, and think about the big picture. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. I'm your boy JT. It's only Monday. Again, it's only Monday. It's a great day. Thank God for another day. Talk to you guys later.